Well, joining us live now is the National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie for more on this. Bridget, so how do you regard Barnaby's departure and possible defection to One Nation?
Well, I think it's disappointing, absolutely, that another member of our party room has left. You don't get into politics to grow your party room. The more people you have inside your party room, the more leverage you have to get the things done you want to achieve for your people and your community. So a diminishing party room is not a good thing. And I, like Matt, hope that over summer Barnaby will reconsider his position. He has committed, Pete, and I think it was very telling yesterday in his press conference following his statement in the House, he has committed to make sure that New England, his House of Representatives seat, does stay with the National Party and is transitioned to National Party future MP, which I think is really positive. So, yeah, let's see what happens over the coming period.
You're going to be working the phone, are you, over the Christmas break to try and keep him back under the Nationals' umbrella? Well,
Peter, Barnaby's very clear on my view of his decision. I had a long conversation with him this week. Trying to convince him to stay in the party that has given him so much. He's made another decision. That's his choice. He's free to do that. But I think it is telling that he didn't then also announce this rumour that he would be defecting to One Nation. Yeah. And I think when I'm talking to members, former leaders within the party who've all been on this journey with Barnaby for the last sort of 2 decades of his political career, there's a lot of anger. And so I think if he actually went to another party, he would absolutely trash his reputation and his legacy.
Well, would you feel betrayed?
So I think that's going to...
Yeah, because
I think he would be betraying. He would be betraying everyone that voted for him as a national, everyone that voted for him as a national on the Senate ticket in Queensland back in 2004 election. So there's a whole lot of betrayal going if he turns his back not on just the parliamentary party here in Canberra, but on the National Party by joining another political movement. And it's a political movement that can't get things done anyway. So, it would almost be a futile decision in the end.
So, as Trudy and Matt referred to a little earlier, Barnaby is now the third National to leave the party. So, G, Price, now Joyce. Is that on the leader?
Well, I think in Barnaby's case, he's made it very clear that it is on the leader. He had 2 issues, net zero by 2050 and making sure we had a more responsible and affordable approach to energy affordability. We've been able to deliver that as a policy outcome under David Littleproud, but he's made no secret for a long time that his relationship with the leader has broken down and is part of why he's chosen to make this decision yesterday.
But 3 of them,
I think that's public knowledge.
Yeah, sure. That's quite an exodus, though, of 3 pretty key figures within the Nationals. I mean, is there a problem with David Littleproud as leader on the whole?
Well, I think David's leadership is absolutely safe. I think the party room has backed him following the election, backed him to take us out of coalition, to put us back into coalition, to get us out of net zero by 2050. So I don't think there's any issues with the National party room support of David Littleproud and Kevin Hogan as our leader and deputy leader. But I guess, as you say, 3 people left and one has made it very, very clear that it was the breakdown in the relationship that sort of preempted this movement. So, the facts are the facts.
So, you're happy with things when it comes to the leadership? You don't expect there to be a challenge in the new year like there might be one for Susan Lee?
I'm leader of the National Party in the Senate and I lead a small but mighty team. And so I'm very, very comfortable in my role and the team that I lead here.
Okay, that's your role.
And our ability to affect change. Well, I think he's done, we're out of net zero. I think it's fantastic. Now we've got to have some serious conversations around immigration. We've also got to get policy settings for particularly young families, getting them into a home and being able to balance work and children better as we head into the new year. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Okay.
And I tell you what, Pete, I think there's a whole lot of hoo-ha about Pauline Hanson and One Nation. It's a party of protest. We don't get into politics to not get things done. We get into politics to achieve outcomes. And in the 30 years that One Nation and its iterations have been around, they haven't delivered one change of policy. So if you care about getting rid of net zero, you've got to vote for parties of government, of which the National Party is.
But do you think, back to David Littleproud, are you expecting him to stay in his role? You've made your position clear and you're happy with things and you're happy with your team. Is David's role safe in the new year, or could there be a challenge like there might well be one for Susan?
Well, I don't get a sense across our party room that there is a mood for change. And even Barnaby mentioned that in his parting comments yesterday. So the room is, very, very comfortable with things how they are.
All right, Bridget McKenzie, appreciate your time. As always, we'll talk to you soon.